How else would we see the maker's mark stamped on a loaf of bread and learn that it was made by a slave? This, and other indications, suggest domestic Roman slaves weren't treated so differently from many who cook and clean for us today. Frequently, they became part of the extended family, living alongside their masters. Many were eventually given their freedom by owners who had come to see them as worthy in their own right, and their names were added to the citizen lists. In some cases, they even inherited their master's wealth. Placing these Roman objects in a familiar setting of the house prompts us to make comparisons with our world. Like us, Romans cherished their leisure time. They enjoyed their gardens. Their use of religious emblems chimes with today's icons and symbols. And many utensils have a familiar feel, though our kettles of boiled water are no longer carried by slaves, and dormice aren't fattened to roast and eat. Here, the commonplace, the throwaway of daily existence breathes life into Roman ghosts.
Initially, Herculaneum was spared the full impact of the eruption, as prevailing winds carried the volcanic clouds south over Pompeii. But then, an avalanche of gas, stones and ash, heated to 400 degrees Celsius and travelling at 70 miles an hour, overwhelmed the city. Within seconds, all living creatures had been burnt to the bone. Wood, leather and food were carbonized, turned to charcoal. Subsequent avalanches sealed Herculaneum under 24 meters of debris.
The few items of Roman furniture we have today come largely from Herculaneum. The overwhelming heat and immediate burial preserved tables, stools, and even a baby's crib, whose tiny occupant remained inside until the cradle was unearthed centuries later. Other preserved items reveal a Roman preoccupation with self-image, prestige, and a tendency to show off. Areas of the home used for meeting, greeting, entertaining, and relaxing were lavishly decorated. The wealthy Romans' walls and ceiling would be covered with frescoes, in addition to floor mosaics. Often, personal motifs are included, alluding to the individual's status or the source of the family fortune. Not everyone could afford such ostentation, but the prospect of self-improvement was available to all. Even freed slaves could become successful traders, and by AD 79, many of Pompeii and Herculaneum's citizens were descended from freedmen. Even today, the Italians have a reputation for style, for hospitality, good food. The tradition is inherited from the sociable, showy Romans, who flaunted their lavish tableware, expensive jewelry, and fashionable trinkets. Theirs was a prototype for contemporary designer living.
Pompeii lay downwind of Mount Vesuvius and was deluged for hours by volcanic rocks raining down from the cloud. Buildings collapsed under the dual pressure of the volcano's deposits and earth tremors. Initially, the city walls held back flows of hot gas and rock, but eventually Pompeii was engulfed by less intense, but nevertheless lethal heat. Bodies entombed beneath 4 meters of rock and ash slowly decayed, leaving voids which centuries later would become molds for plaster casts of Pompeii's citizens.
The people of Pompeii and Herculaneum remain vivid and alive to us. This picture of Terentius Neo, the baker, and his wife is beautifully preserved. It shows her as his equal, well-groomed and fashionable, holding the tools of writing which establish her as educated. Neo himself wears a white toga, an indication he is standing for public office. Right across Pompeii, electoral notices are commonplace, a further sign that this was a literate society. Yet Roman women could neither run for elected office nor vote, though by AD 79 they had some standing in public life. Eumarchia, neither empress nor politician, paid for the construction of the largest building in the Forum.